You know what drives me crazy, Sherry? All those synthetic additives in pet food.
Yeah, I know. I love, though, that Northwest Naturals took the initiative and cut out synthetic vitamins completely from their foods.
Exactly. It's all whole food ingredients, nothing outsourced, nothing sketchy.
And everything's made in their USDA human-grade facility, start to finish, all in-house. I saw it for myself when I took a tour of their manufacturing plant in Portland. I was blown away by them processing meat for human consumption that was going to be sent to grocery stores right alongside the pet food.
Right? Like, that's unheard of. And that's the Northwest Naturals difference. Real food you can actually trust.
See it for yourself at nw-naturals.net.
And right now, Northwest Naturals is offering an extra 5% on GAP ISOs for current clients, plus an extra 5% on any new ISO if you're a new client.
Just use the promo code PetShopGirls.
Pet Shop Girls, the voice of the indie, the heart of the trade. Pet Shop Girls, unleash your power, let's make some waves.
Hey everybody, I'm Sherry.
And I'm Carly.
Welcome back to the Pet Shop Girls podcast. We're going to talk money again. Money, money, money.
Sherry, you took my line. Money,
What?
money, money, money. Money.
Okay. I had no idea that you wanted to sing that, but I should have known.
Of course I did.
I
There's
should
a
have
song.
known.
Get your
Okay.
money for nothing and your chicks for free. Okay, carry on.
So Carly always talks about Erin Caleval, who is going to be our guest. And I'm going to do a quick intro, okay? Erin began her finance career at Canada Revenue Agency, learning the ins and outs of taxation. Her career journey included experience in accounting and commercial succession planning. Today, Erin leads a fantastic team whose focus is financial resiliency for clients and communities in Regina and southern Saskatchewan. Her education as a CFP and years of experience have enabled Erin and her team to become a valued and trusted partner in the financial health of her clients. Welcome to the show, Erin.
Yay!
Yay! Thanks for having me, ladies. Pet Shop Girl.
The Pet Shop Girls.
Mhm.
Okay, Erin, first of all, the CRA in Canuckland, Canada Revenue Agency, that would be like the IRS in the US. Would that be the equivalent?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
the same.
Okay. I just was thinking, like, yes, for the folks down south, or maybe around the world,
Sure.
they may not know who Canada Revenue Agency is. It's kind of like the RCMP. They know who the FBI is, but they don't know who the RCMP are. So
Well,
I
sometimes just say the dark side. Like, I used to work for the dark side, and then I found the light and came to independent practice. But yes, so taxation was really my background, and that would be the same in the States, the IRS.
And so
Yeah.
I was going to say a lot of what we're going to talk about is going to apply to both the US and Canada.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's because kind of when Erin and I chatted about this, and this is something actually, we were just talking about this before we started recording, but it's like been more than a year that we've been trying to get Miss Erin on the show. Because
I know it's been a long time coming. Yes.
It has been a long time coming. So no pressure.
No pressure. None whatsoever.
Here's the thing. One of the reasons that I really wanted Erin on the show, you guys, and this is for me, Erin is a very good friend of mine. We met many, many years ago when I was doing my soul-sucking government job and then trying to fill my soul in every way I could. And we met at a trade show. Her business had a booth there, and my little Wine Glass Girls side gig had a booth there. And then we did Erin's Christmas party for her team, and the rest is history. But when I first opened House of Paws, and Erin was on me, and she's like, "Are you paying yourself? Are you paying yourself? Are you paying yourself?" And I'm like, no, because I don't want to hurt House of Paws, and I want to make sure that House of Paws can stand on its own 4 legs before I start like sucking all the money out. And Erin, I remember saying, you said this to me in your office, my friend, put the oxygen mask on first. Yeah.
I was
Thank
just
you.
gonna say that. I just did the visual. It's coming down from the airplane and it's dropping in front of your seat, and you just rip the thing off and put it on your face first before you can help
Yeah.
anybody else. So
Yes. And that's so those are like Erin has much wisdom to share on many different topics, but finance definitely is something that I figure Erin's not going to talk products. We're not going to talk specific taxation in Canada versus the States, but we're going to talk common sense when it comes to managing finances for business, the financial health. And so when we're talking about the financial health of any business, Erin, what does that look like or mean for a small independent pet pro?
Well, I think just, when you think about your own health, like if you just think of the word health and how subjective that is to you, right? Like when you feel healthy, what are the things you're doing? What are the habits you're doing that fulfill that health checklist, right? And that's a lot of oxygen mask stuff too. But really, and there's lots of buzzwords even in my bio, but resiliency is what a lot of financial decision making has to revolve around. And that just means like, when you're financially resilient or healthy, it means you can overcome adversity, right? It just means that when times are tough, or maybe when revenue's down, or the store is quiet, or God forbid, one of the ownership group or key managers has like a disability or can't come to work, or like there's so many things that can test you. And financial health to me means, how do we stack up when we're tested, right? Mm-hmm. That's about resiliency. And so, we're going to talk today about lots of tips and tricks, and we're going to have some really straight talk. I really do like to tell it.
Yeah,
like
you're not good at sugarcoating. That's probably why I like you.
Oh, I love that too. Let's get to the point.
Yeah, exactly.
So I hear this a lot in the industry. I've struggled with it myself over the years. And that is, our business is growing. We're selling more. Our dailies look great. But then we look at our bank account and we have less money.
Yeah,
what happened? Where did it go? What's going on there? Can you help us with that?
Well, I think there's at some point, we have to discuss cash flow and the reality of cash flow. And it's great when you see the revenue coming in, or you see the feed across the threshold, or you're selling and you've had to order more inventory, and you think, record month, this is great. I can't wait to buy my new Porsche, or whatever it is that means success for you. But one of the things I think that happens in lots of small businesses, and retail is not the only environment that this occurs, is that we don't spend enough time talking about what it costs us to sell that product, or when we're so focused on revenue, who's focusing on what's going out the door? Who's focused on expenses? And especially nowadays, when we talk about increased cost of goods sold, and I know that's a frequent conversation you and I have, Carly, is like things don't cost the same as they did even a year ago to order into your store and whatnot. So how are we managing our expenses? They're also inflating. Our team costs more to pay them this year than it did last year. And I think a good deep dive into what we're spending money on versus what we're bringing in is probably the key to figuring out why there's no money in the checking account at the end of the month. Where did it go?
Yeah. And that's, I mean, you and I have talked about that, where I'm saying like, we're having our best month ever. And I feel like I have the least amount of money I've ever had, where if I go back to when I was doing a third of the sales in a month, I felt like I had way more money. But I guess, okay, so for that was obviously, because you know me, looking at expenses is definitely a blind spot that I have. But so typically in the pet industry, this is a passion-based business. The people that get into it are very passionate about what they do. But what would you say are kind of some of those most common financial blind spots that you see amongst business owners, whether it's pet or not?
Yeah, I love that phrase, passion based, or, that we have this kind of like emotional, innate desire to be an entrepreneur, whether it's in the pet industry, like you said, Carly, or, I have clients in all kinds of different small and medium sized businesses. But I would say, and this, I hope I don't ruffle any feathers, but I would definitely say a commonality or a blind spot maybe among clients I deal with is this discussion about like how many hats are you wearing every day in your business, right? Like
Lots, yeah.
Lots. And if you think, I don't even know what that saying is, I should have Googled it before, but it's like, you're so busy, but you're like the master of none. I don't know what that saying is. Maybe someone can look at it. Who knows?
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Master of none, yes.
Or like just spinning your wheels.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because you're so passionate about this industry or whatever widget you sell or whatever you make or whatever the mission statement was when you opened your doors. You're so emotionally connected to that vision that often you think as an entrepreneur that you can do all of these tasks the best. You can be a financial planner. You can be what do you guys do? You can fix something when it's broken. You can be a plumber. You can Google it. You can look it up on YouTube and figure out how to fix something, how to do this, how to do that. And really, like, how effective are you being as the owner of your operations if you're not focused on the things that brought you there in the first place, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have many business owners that are really winging a lot of skills that aren't innate or part of their personality or even their interest. And I can tell you, hands down, finances and bookkeeping is top of that list of things that business owners don't want to do and grudgingly or begrudgingly have to do to maintain the financial health of their business, for sure.
Right. Like, I'm not going to sit there and learn how to do electricity in my store. I'm not going to do the electric work. I'm going to hire somebody to do that. So, if it's something that you don't like doing or you're not good at doing or you don't know how to do, hire somebody.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Sherry, preach. Like, preach. Because do you know how many times I'll have like a business client say, and I love my agriculture clients too, and they are like, so this comes out of my agriculture clients' mouths more often than not. It's like, oh, my nephew can do it. He took finance in high school, or the QuickBooks, you just plug in the number and the QuickBooks tells me the number and here I go. And there's kind of this idea that like that's not a good spend. It's not a good place to pay, especially when you have cash flow issues. Like, who wants to spend more money when they're worried about payroll clearing, right?
Yeah,
like, I understand that. And as a business owner, I fully get it. But that's a blind spot. So when I need my car fixed, I don't say like, well, I think my son took shop in grade 11. I hire a mechanic to fix my car.
Right.
We've been throwing around the term cash flow a lot, and I just wanted to back it up. Let's get real simple here. Mm-hmm. Can you explain the difference between cash flow and profit?
Oh,
profit I have, cash flow I don't. That's how I explain it.
I'm just so into these words. Sherry, you just know how to make a finance girl happy. All right. Okay. So simple, straight talk. Cash flow. Cash flow is like an immediate real-time analysis of what's going on, sort of daily expenses, daily revenue. Like, it's a snapshot of a transactional period, like maybe the month of November or maybe quarter two. Like, it's a snapshot of that real point in time where the pluses and the minuses have a total. And when we're looking at profit, that's more of like a year-end kind of accrued number that includes some of those expenses that you don't look at every month. Things like, depreciation is a good example, or maybe even inventory. Some of these like longer term expenses that aren't kind of cash related, those show up in the profit. That profit statement at the end of the year is like really big picture, and the cash flow is like a little snapshot of that bigger picture. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. No,
I needed
listen.
to hear like a resounding yes, Erin.
Yay!
That makes sense.
Yay.
I realize
That's
now
better.
after your
That's better.
yeah, after your description, I neither have cash flow or profit. So kidding. Okay. So we kind of talked about a little bit earlier, like, hey, the more I make, the less I feel I have. Now we're talking about this whole cash flow. What are some of those red flags that would indicate that your business might be growing in sales, but shrinking in profit? Like, how do we avoid that little trap in the road as entrepreneurs?
Yeah, a couple things for me would be real attention to the data, which is the part that everybody kind of rolls their eyes in the back of their head and does like a bit of a yawn-a-thon about. But I love a good year over year. She's shaking her head. I can see you, Carly. The video is off.
I am shaking my head.
Yeah. So there's got to be a good way to benchmark highs and lows, right? So if you're having a tough month with cash, or you think, geez, like the store looks so busy, what's going on? The first place that I would look is year over year. So what did last November look like? Or what did the first week in October look like last year? Like, did a staff fall on a different day? Did like one of the anchor stores down the road leave? Were there some economic factors happening? Like interest rates, for example, are higher than they were last year. So I love a good year over year. And if you can go back even more, like all the nerds out there are going to love me because I have a spreadsheet from 2009 to 2025 with every month end, like sort of net dollar in my bank account, all the revenue and all the, and I know that's so nerdy.
No, but Sherry knows that I also have my nerd spreadsheet.
Oh, her spreadsheet's crazy. Yeah.
Well, Erin's seen it, so she knows the nerd within. But
I love a year over year too. It helps me.
Yeah.
It does help me, and graphs help me.
Sure.
And
it helps you ground that panic that you might feel, right? When you're not sure what's changed, but something's different. And if you can't go back to that same quarter the year before, even, we've got these points in time that we can really capture as small business owners. And I hate to bring it up, and we don't have to like delve deep into it, but even like something that was like a pre-pandemic number and then maybe a post-pandemic number, like we do have these kind of, we had a real economic crisis in 2008. Like we have these benchmarks over time, and a really good exercise if you're in that panic situation. Just let's do a year over year. Let's see what's changed from last year to today, and see if we can forecast what December will look like based on what it looked like last year.
Yeah, I that makes a lot of sense though too, Erin, because again, you've seen my inner nerd spreadsheet, and so as we were like, I would not have known had I not been tracking since my doors opened that we are currently having the best year of sales that we've ever had. But that's where Erin and I had gone out for supper the one night. And I was saying to her, I'm like, how am I doing more sales than I've ever done? And I have less money than I've ever had.
Sure.
But without being able to go back and look at that year over year, I wouldn't know that we were having such a great year. And at this point, I'd probably just be going, shut the doors. Like, I can't make money doing this. But something is obviously my expense has also gone up. And I've mentioned several times on this podcast, expenses are not my jam. I don't like to look at that stuff. I only like to look at half of the financial story.
Sure. And you're half healthy.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym, but I'm only going to go to the gym for 10 minutes, not an hour. Like, you're still going to the gym. You got in your car and you put your runners on and you're going to the gym, but is that the
I
whole
go to the gym to sit in the sauna.
I see people just go to the gym and sit on a machine and check their phone for like an hour.
Right.
And then they can say they went to the gym for an hour.
I should do that.
Or post it, right?
So I want to move on here and let's talk tips here. I have so many questions running through my head. What are some like easy financial habits that could make a difference for us people who are not numbers people?
Sherry, you're going to kill me when I tell you this because it's so boring. But it is kind of like when you go to the doctor and you're like, how can I like lose weight and feel better? And your doctor's like, you should exercise and eat good food. And you're like, I don't really want to do that. What's something easier I can do, right? We're looking for this like quick fix. But I will tell you, regardless of business owners or just even retail, like personal finance clients of mine, my number one tip is to make a plan. When I find out how many business owners don't actually have a 1, 2, 5, 10, like short-term, long-term financial plan, I'm shocked because it's kind of like, remember the days we would get into our car, this is before GPS, and what did you have in your glove box? A map. Right? Yeah. You had like a paper map. And now, of course, we have like, Siri and, your husband beside you telling you to turn left. But you have like a GPS or you have information, you have a route, you have a map, you have a way to get there. And I'm telling you, if you don't have a financial plan, it is so much harder to meet revenue and expense targets if it's not on paper. And the second thing about that plan is you have to show it to someone. You have to show it to another human being. And that human being ideally is not in your business, on your business, or working with you in the business. And the reason I say that is because if you're shy about what you're spending, this is personally or professionally, like if you don't want to show someone how many times you ordered DoorDash or how many times you spent money on something that you're maybe not super proud of, believe me, tracking your spending, tracking your income, and then sharing that with an accountability partner like a bookkeeper, an accountant, or a finance person, or even someone who you trust in their own business community to give you some real feedback about your income and expenses. Like, build that plan, and then you got to share it with someone. And I know how boring that is, but it is probably my number one tip.
Because that person could come back and then say, like, do you realize that you're spending $900 a month on DoorDash, but you can't afford your payroll?
Well, the thing is, like, when I share financial information, especially with a group like you two ladies or other business owners, like, I'm not sharing it to defend it. I'm sharing it to engage some discourse, like to engage a discussion about what I'm not seeing. So I'm not saying every DoorDash order you make or every gumball machine you buy isn't pivotal to your business, but we should be comfortable sharing that and establishing, like, how am I getting to my goal that's in my plan if I keep buying gumball machines, right? Like, we just have to maybe not defend that choice, but we have to action it with good feedback from people we trust.
Okay, so how then, as business owners, how do we kind of handle the lows? The highs are good and makes it a little bit easier, but when we kind of experience either those like slow seasons or those dips between paydays, and now you're literally like biting your nails because am I going to be able to make payday? What are kind of some of your best tips there that we could help pet pros out avoiding those dips?
Yeah, one of the things that I suggest, and I do practice what I preach. I did this in my agency. I had 7 staff and have grown and shrunk over the years, as you well know, Carly. And I think a lot of us entrepreneurs, a lot of business owners, we have a real focus on kind of engaging participation with our team about sales, right? About maybe store policy or store procedures. We would talk to our staff a lot about like the culture in our pet store and have goals around how many clients did you transact with today, or what was your average, I don't know, Carly, what would be like an average sale per transaction, something like that. But one of the things I engaged my team with was contests around expense management. And I know that sounds a little lame, but when I have a dip or a low period in my revenue. And again, if you have that year over year data, I don't think it shouldn't come as a big surprise, right? Like we should know, especially if we're a little longer in the tooth, we should know in our business what the good months are and maybe what the slower months are. Like, I mean, my business looks like a heart monitor too, right? It's like up, down, up, down, up, down. But I can forecast that and I know that. And maybe some of my contest goals or my team building goals center more around expense management than they do about revenue. Because we only have two options to change that financial situation, right? We can make more money and we can cut our expenses. Like that's it. Those are the two levers we can pull. So when I know revenues are going to be down like a slower month, then I'm going to pull that expense lever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lever. I don't know. Do we say it lever in Canada and lever in this? I don't know. Whatever. When we pull that trigger, I'm going to engage my team to support that, right? So it's not about like, cutting shifts or someone taking a pay cut, but it's more about
part of it, I would think, is also like, I'm just not going to buy that ISO of that new treat that I want or that new food. Your rep comes in and they're like, you can get 30% off of this whole ISO. Well, if it's a slow month, it don't do it, even though it looks good, it's going to get you in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and 30% off when you don't have it, you don't have it, regardless of how on sale it is, right?
Yeah.
But when you engage the staff to find ways that month, like could we have potlucks instead of going out for dinner, or could we could we short shift on days that we don't need as much of the team, or is this a low order month, or is this like what would you say to the team? Like, hey guys, I'd like to cut expenses this month by $1,000. What are some of your ideas? Like, how can we turn our normal revenue goals into helping this business save some money this month? That might be not the first place you think of, because business owners think it's their problem, right? It's our problem.
And that's what I was just going to say, that I think a lot of business owners kind of keep the financials to themselves and cry in the silence of the dark without
deep sobs. Yeah. Deep alone sobs, 100%. Yeah, been there.
But I think back to like kind of my OG team when it was Olivia and Ella and I, and Ella had worked in a pet store previous to mine, and she was the one that said like it's very different here because blah blah blah, and she said all the things, but she also said, never, ever did I understand the finances of the pet store I worked in before. Like the owners never shared that information with us. So when you are openly sharing the financial situation with your team, they will have the ability to come back and say, we could stop spending money here. But if they don't know what you spend money on, or if they don't know how much it costs to do X, Y, Z, like, I would also say too, like one of the things that we've just most recently implemented in my store is we're calling it a short Saturday shift. I used to have 2 people in on Saturdays, but the foot traffic is not warranting 2 full shifts on a Saturday anymore. Our busier times are the weekdays versus the Saturdays. So we've got a full shift on a Saturday and a short shift. And that means that person pieces out when it dies down around 2 or 3 in the afternoon.
That's part of that resiliency approach to how do you weather the times the times when things are tough. Well, you rely on your teammates and you share where appropriate. Like I'm sure your staff don't need to know all the ins and outs. However, a team goal is a team goal. And when you think about, that kind of, like Sherry had kind of mentioned earlier, like you got to spend money to make money, right? Like we've got to, and sometimes that might be true, but in foreseeable downtimes, we have to shore up a bit, and we have to look to our immediate centers of influence, our immediate team around us, and say, okay, guys, how are we shoring up this month? Because next month we should be good. But what are we doing this month? Yeah.
Might be true, because that is my justification to buy the things, even when I look at it and go, this is probably really dumb, but you got to spend money to make money.
No, that's my justification too.
Yes.
Spreadsheet be damned.
Yeah, spreadsheet be damned. I also think sometimes we, like business owners, we do get caught up a little bit in like that kind of like fake it till you make it. Like we'll just keep doing this until, like, I'm sure it'll work sometime. We'll just keep trucking along, and like things are literally on fire behind you, but you're like, it's my passion. just gonna keep on going.
I know, but if you keep doing the same thing over and over again and it's not working, that's the definition of crazy.
Insanity.
100%.
Well, yes.
Let's be crazy. Let's be crazy sensitive here, Sherry.
I mean, they wouldn't have had to make like filters on photos if we were just all real about how like what real life is, right? So when you think about that mentality of like just keep swimming, like sometimes that really helps you in tough times. But other resiliency checkpoints would be who's supporting me in my efforts to cut some corners here.
Hey, Carly, so I was just talking to Art from Aardvark Pet Products about the advantages indie stores get when they white label.
Ooh, spill the tea.
Well,
hey, I could do that.
Hey, Art, what are you doing here?
I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry. All right, here's the deal with our private label program. The independent retailer can take advantage of our low minimum order quantities, so you don't have to tie up your cash flow. Plus, we'll put your logo on a custom label for free. There's no setup costs. Also, we'll give you a free UPC, and our turnaround time is super fast.
Okay, well, that's a lot of savings right there.
Yep. And the part that makes me proud of what we're doing is we're helping independent stores build their own brand and make more money doing it.
I love that you have the independent pet store's success in mind. Your products have grown my chew department exponentially. Plus, customers love seeing our name on products. It makes them feel like they're supporting local in a real way.
And honestly, it's nice just to have something different than what the big box guys carry.
Exactly. We're here to help the independent retailers compete with big brands.
Check out everything at artvarkpet.com. That's ARTVARK pet.com. And if you want a $600 design pack for free and to avoid those pesky setup fees, plus get 10% off your first order, be sure to mention the Pet Shop Girls sent you.
Bye, Art.
Bye-bye.
I have seen numerous business coaches. That's their advice, like fake it till you make it, which never ever sat right with me. I'm like, no, if this whole thing that I'm doing is fake, why am I doing it? Like,
I'm
how
all
long
about
is that
being
sustainable?
authentic. Be authentic
I was
to
just
yourself.
gonna say, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think your team, there are some times where I've walked in a room and thought, okay, well, I'm gonna wing this one because maybe I was out of my element a bit. And I think entrepreneurs like that feeling of a little bit of risk. That risk reward isn't there if you plan out every step in your day. But I would say that there's so much support now, and there's so much more kind of willingness for business owners to share. And I love this community that you two have built, and this idea that, like, I'm not here to compete, I'm here to collaborate, and I'm here to share with you. Like, it isn't always easy. And I don't want to always make it look easy. I really want the advice of people I trust and I rely on. So I do like a bit of fake it till you. I think we've all been there. We've all been in scenarios where we had to just sort of, stiff up our lip.
Yeah.
Sherry, that was a conversation that Erin and I had a while back where Erin was saying, like, so many people see kind of the beginning of the entrepreneur's journey where it's like hard, but it's the setup and it's the startup and all the things. And then they don't see all of the highs and lows that it takes to get to the point where you pull up in your brand new vehicle and maybe you've got your little Chanel No. 5 purse or what. I don't know these things. And you like, I don't know, but it looks like you've made it. And that's what Erin was saying. Like, I want somebody to tell that story about how I made it.
Right.
Because I didn't start up and then just become this successful business owner, right? There was heartaches and very lows, along with some good highs, before you get to a point where you, I think, feel stable. Like you're like, yes, this is a viable business.
I will say, fake it till you make it. Sometimes that means like, okay, let's put on this suit or like this outfit to look like we're at a point that we're not quite at yet.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll get you through a certain situation, but that only gets you so far.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like it's like a Band-Aid,
If we're talking about money, obviously, for the business, how do you determine whether, if you're in that situation where you're like, okay, I just need a little bit to kind of help me, I've set my plan out now, built that plan, and I need a little bit to kind of help me achieve the goals in that plan. How do you know, should I be using a line of credit? Should I be getting a loan? Should I be using my credit card? Should I actually have the cash in place? Or is this something that I don't do right now because I can't, because of other obligations? Or
like how do you finance growth without taking on scary debt? Yes.
The little conciser over there.
Yeah, that's such a good question. And I think that scary is another one of those subjective terms, just like healthy. Like, I think the nature of a business owner or an entrepreneur is to I don't think we're as risk averse as people not in small business. So I think we generally, and maybe this is, an overgeneralization or kind of heuristics talking, but I feel like entrepreneurs are more comfortable with being uncomfortable when it comes to risk and debt. And there are lots of niche markets where funding and loans are made so attractive. And it's always sure enough when you think, I could use a little buffer for those low times. But one of the things I would suggest to anybody is keeping an eye on that variable interest rate. So if you can't afford to finance it now, it's tough to imagine financing it in an interest rate climate that is not manageable. And, a traditional loan or a line of credit, if you have an established relationship with your bank, those might be easy to access and they could help in a short-term resiliency period. Long-term, the best way to maintain the financial health of yourself in your own household and your business is a very habit, like you're glued to this habit of saving. And I know how boring that sounds, and I know how impossible it sounds, but the best advice I have to people taking on debt in their business is to make sure that you have a keen eye to that interest rate, and that you're in a particular period of growth in your business. Either you've been at the game quite a long time and you've done some research and you're interested in growing into a new market that's well researched, well thought out, or you're taking on some debt in order to produce some higher margins in another area of your business down the road, whether it's a new product line or new staff or something of that nature. But taking on debt is scary, especially if your income statement looks like a heart monitor. I mentioned that before. So without those good saving habits, I don't think any of us would recommend to anybody that without a good pattern of saving, you should take on debt. Would you tell that to a young professional or to your own kids or to your neighbor? Oh yeah, just go borrow that money. I'm sure you'll figure it out down the road. But you would never say that, right? You would never say that.
When we're talking saving here, are we saying like, let's set aside a certain amount every week to like be auto deducted into a separate savings account? Like what percentage, how much should people be setting aside depending on the size of the business?
Yeah, well, there are lots of good, sort of debt to equity ratios that I won't get too into the weeds with here because it can be really industry specific. But there are so many, and I'm only speaking from a Canadian perspective, but corporations can have investment products just like the average citizen can be investing or saving with great advantages to investing owned in the corporation. So it's not necessarily even about putting a specific amount of income aside every month into a savings account. It's more about like, what is the end goal? Like, what is our end need for this savings? And let's work backwards from that and figure out how much, what are the current compensatory interest rates? What kind of products are we going to invest in? And let's save for a goal. like Sherry, maybe the goal is 100 grand. Maybe the goal is enough for a down payment on a new building. Maybe the goal is enough cash reserves to bring on, I don't know, a new product line or something of that nature, and work backwards from that. Because if we're just ambiguously saving, like, oh, I should put $100 away in my checking account or from my checking to savings every month, it's a little hard to feel really kind of motivated and energized by that. But if we have a savings goal at the end of the rainbow, then it's really easy. Well, it's easier to really set our target on that and work towards that savings goal.
So you mentioned another location, and I know that a lot of our listeners are at that point in their business where they think they're doing good. They're thinking about opening up a second location, but they're not quite sure. And I'm actually at that point too. So like, what financial signals should I look for before I jump into something like that?
Yeah, this is a really interesting question, because being a real estate owner or being sort of a second location, having that second location is a really big step in anybody's entrepreneurial journey for sure. So I think some of the economic indicators would have to be that you have an amount of profit in your company at the end of each year that signals to you that you've kind of not aced, but you've kind of really figured out this location. And now I've got some equity indicators that we could invest in duplicating this model in another location. And we've done the market research. We know there's a need there. We know there's an opportunity there. And the indicators for that would definitely be that profit statement at the end of the year. It doesn't tell me anything if your business just has cash, like it has cash every month. That's great. What does it look like at the end of the year? What's the profit that we can show to shareholders or show on our income statement that indicates, hey, we need another place to put this money. We could invest this money in another location. I think sometimes the trap that retailers fall into is the idea that if this one's not working might not be the right word, but if this one is kind of stagnant or I'm not really getting the results I want from this location, what I could do is I could have a whole bunch more locations, and then the revenue will just get bigger and bigger and bigger, but we're not really paying attention to what's happening in our primary location. And do I have all of the systems in place to replicate a successful model, or am I just trying to fix something that's broken, right? Am I fixing this location, or am I really geared to expansion? And the model I have here could just like Lego hair, right? You just pick it up and put it down in another spot, and it would run. Yeah. It would engage. It would endure.
Okay, when you were just talking here, something ran through my head, and it was like when married couples that aren't doing so well decide to have a baby to save the marriage.
Yeah,
that's like, okay, let's open a second location to try to fix the first one.
100%. And I will tell this group, like, I had 3 locations at one point, and now I have one again. And I have a really compelling story. I don't know what our timing is or whatever, but I have a client who had a client who had a really successful business. And he was like, oh my gosh, this is so great. I'm going to do this all across Saskatchewan. This is the province we live in, all across Saskatchewan. And I'm going to do this, and I'm and he was so excited about expansion. And then he expanded, and kind of going back to what Carly had mentioned earlier, like his revenue. But then he had like 30 guys working for him, and his phone was ringing all night. And he was running around quoting here and doing this and doing that. And at the end of the day, his core business, his passion business, was gone. And what he was doing was chasing this expansion and this growth model, and this, like, he's so ambitious about his business. And what ended up happening is he recalled those locations. He went back to his core business model, the reason he started that business in the first place. And now his revenue is higher, and he's like living a better life now than he was when he was in that kind of growth model. Not that I'm saying it's not right for you, Sherry, or not that I'm saying that growth is like a 4-letter word, but it has to be growth for the right reasons. And we have to hang on to our core practices that have made us successful, right? Good financial health, a strong entrepreneurial drive, a great team around us, and a product and a service that people want to participate in. And if that message gets lost as we grow, then I think it's a bit of a step back to see, like, what are the motivations for this baby? What are the motivations?
No, that's a great
Yeah.
story.
Mhm.
No, that's really good,
Yeah.
because I've actually known people that have had a great thing going, and then they opened up a
Mhm.
second location, and then they opened up a third one, and then everything just caved in.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know,
And then we do get really caught up in those success stories because franchising is a thing, right? And I think that's lots of retailers' dreams. Like, can't wait to have 50 doors and franchise this model. And in lots of cases, that's very successful. And in other instances, I think we, like Sherry had mentioned, like we're trying to fix something that we're not recognizing as broken. And so those indicators of your second location, Sherry, as long as those are profit driven, because that's the reason we're in this business. Otherwise, we're volunteers and we work for a nonprofit. So it's profit driven. The economic indicators are good. The market research fit has been done. And we have profit at the end of the year to invest in a second location.
okay.
That's what I'm going to tell people when they ask me, what do I do? I volunteer for a nonprofit pet
I
nutrition
know.
education
Harmony.
center.
No.
I'm kidding.
Right?
A little bit. I'm not doing too bad. My new truck is here. So
Great.
Okay. So if we could leave our listeners before we get to
Mhm.
rapid fire.
Oh, okay.
Yes, rapid fire. Which I probably know all your answers for rapid fire, but we're going to ask you anyways.
No, I
Okay.
looked at the questions of this rapid fire, and I'm actually excited. I think this is going to be a good one.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'm wondering if there's kind of something that our pet pros can kind of sink their little chompers into and run away and do something for the financial health of their business. What would that quick, easy, but effective? Notice I changed it. You can either get good, cheap, and fast. Anyways, quick, easy, and effective. What would that thing be that they could all start doing that they would, see results from?
Don't order DoorDash. That's what she's going to say.
Yeah, well, I won't get sued by DoorDash, will I?
Aaron, I was just about to say you want to.
Yeah, not be a sponsor of this podcast. Yeah.
It's also called the latte factor, right? Like, because all those lattes add up, But I don't want to
100%.
stop buying my latte.
Sure. I know. That's the conundrum. Like, what do we do? Right? Damn it, we do.
Doctor, how do I feel better? You have to lose weight and eat better. No, I want
I
something
don't want to do
different.
that. Ew.
Yeah.
Ew. Where's the quick fix? Yeah, there's probably not a quick fix yet, but I will say that if you aren't super into the finances of your business, find someone who is. And that if this whole conversation has made you think, ooh, I don't have year over year, or I don't really have profit at the end of the year, or something in this podcast made you, kind of perk up, like the little bunny ears perked up, then you got to ask someone. You got to get some help. You got to find someone that you can share your finances with and build that plan together. So that would be my lasting advice is to get help.
No, it's so true though. Carly and I have both had people in our corners that were not good. I think I didn't have a great CPA, and wasn't yours like a bad bookkeeper, Carly, or it was a bad
Not
CPA?
even an accountant. Aaron, you are well aware of that because you're the one that had to drop off the ransom check to get my finances released. Yeah.
And
Well,
they didn't have the right intentions, and they didn't they weren't rooting for you and
That's
your
right.
success. So I actually spent this past summer interviewing multiple CPAs and bookkeepers until I found the right people. It took over a month.
It took a while,
to do.
Well, you got to do that research, right? Like we can't. Like I think a lot of my clients, and I think lots of young folks too. Like I have lots of younger clients coming up, and getting advice on TikTok, like a 20-second video where someone's like, love TikTok, Harley, as I know, it's like all the social media stuff is great. But like when you actually want advice, you've got to research it and you've got to find people that are your biggest fan and want your business to succeed. And I don't think, a quick video online or just a casual recommendation from someone or your nephew who took accounting in grade 11, like that ain't going to cut it anymore with the types of complexity. We're talking, like, you guys are business owners and you got to know cash flow and profit, right? Okay, so your nephew doesn't know that. So let's find someone who does and let's research them and interview them like they're a new member of your team. Because Sherry, your CPA is on your team, right? That's your teammate.
Yeah. I didn't realize, everybody told me before I opened my store too, like, make sure you get a good finance guy. And I'm like, oh yeah. And all I thought was like, as long as they're a finance guy, how bad could they be? Bad, obviously. I learned that the hard way twice, but yeah, I didn't realize how important that is. And so I did the exact same thing, Sherry, when I got so fed up with the two finance dudes that I was working with. Same thing. I structured it like an interview and I reached out and I talked to several different people that other people had said, like, try this person, try that person. And I'm like, okay, but they're all going through the same interview because at the end of the day, this is my baby and it needs to be taken care of well. And I can't take part. I can't take care of it in the way that I need to. Because I got to focus on the passionate side, where
that's right. You got a bunch of other hats to wear,
give stuff away for free and volunteer my time.
100% work in your nonprofit organization. Absolutely. Good luck. Good luck.
Okay. Is it rapid fire time?
We're doing rapid fire. Woo! Okay, rapid fire.
Yay.
Okay, Erin. The way that rapid fire works is we're going to spit out an option for you, this or that, basically.
Okay.
And you've got 30 seconds or less to tell us which one and why.
Oh, gosh. Okay. That's like a timer. Ugh. My nemesis. Hey, I'm ready.
Okay, Sherry, are you starting or am I starting?
Well, I know what she's going to say on this one.
I do too.
I'll start.
And I know what the next one is too.
I'll start it off. Okay. Save or spend?
Oh, Sherry, you know this one. Save all day long.
Yeah.
Save all day long. Pretend it's like the 30s and it's depression era and you got to say save all day long. Save. Okay. Go.
All right. Hire a bookkeeper or DIY it.
Okay. Carly.
I don't know who came up with these. Probably Sherry. I'm going
to say hire all day long. All day long. We're saving and we're hiring. So if you want to spend money, spend it on a bookkeeper. Do you see how I tied those two together?
There you go. Yeah. Okay, so you can spend. You can spend.
It just has to be on a finance dude.
It just has to be on a finance dude. Yeah, for sure.
Maybe that finance dude could bring a latte with him. Okay.
Free lattes with every financial statement. That's what you're looking for.
Okay. Inventory or marketing? Where's the bigger money trap?
Ooh, trap. Okay. Well, this is a tough one. So when we focus on inventory, we're figuring out how we earn our money. And when we're focused on marketing, we're figuring out when we're going to earn that money. So, this is such a tough one. I'm going to say inventory, but only because we have to make smart choices about inventory and not make sort of emotional decisions about what you think people want to buy. Just make decisions about what people are actually buying and what those margins look like.
I agree. Yeah. I think inventory is the bigger trap because you can overbuy and then you buy the wrong thing and then you sit on it too long.
Drunk reindeer hats. We've talked about this before.
100%, right? And marketing is like, hey, when am I going to sell this? Like, what lever am I going to pull with marketing to drive foot traffic or online traffic, whatever that traffic looks like. But inventory, you can really get stuck in that hole where you've bought the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So that's the trap.
Okay.
All right.
Cash flow, profit, or revenue. What's the real MVP?
MVP. Well, obviously the P is for profit, the most valuable profit. I'm going with profit on this one. Yeah. MVP is profit. Otherwise, like Carly said, you're a volunteer working in your nonprofit agency. Cash flow and revenue are short term, profit is long term. So if you're in this business for the long term, your MVP is profit. And I will die on that statement. The other one,
all right.
So profitability, sorry, Sherry, profitability should be baked into your financial plan.
Well, yeah. Otherwise, like we didn't come here to knit, right? Like we got to turn a profit. And profit is also subjective. Like profit to you might be 10 grand. Profit to someone else might be $1 million. Profit to another person might be $1. But we're at this game to drive a profit. Otherwise, we're holding on to something for reasons other than business, whether it's an emotional tie or whether it's, lots of farming clients are like that. Or like I have farming clients that are like, well, we've owned this acre of land since, and I'm like, yeah, but nothing grows on it and it doesn't make any money. So what are we doing? Like, what are we doing with this land, right? Or we'll hang on to something because it has that passion value. But if you had to sell your business tomorrow, Carly, I'm not saying you do, and Sherry, like lots of your listeners aren't in a position to sell. But if you had to sell that business tomorrow, I guarantee you that anybody buying that business doesn't care about your cash flow. They want to know if your business turns a profit and what that profit is. Mm-hmm. And if you are, it doesn't make pet stores any different than other retailers or other small business owners when I tell you that the only thing that matters at the end of the day, because it helps you sleep at night as a business owner, is a profitable business. End of story. You're not up, sleepless nights, et cetera, if you're focused on profitability.
Okay, we got one more.
No. Oh, there's one more.
There's one more. I'm so sorry.
I was going to end on that now and just be like, no. Okay. All right.
Okay. If your money could talk, what would it tell you to stop doing?
Sherry, what would it tell you to stop doing?
Lattes.
Stop buying lattes?
I guess. It would say, like your little money voice would say, stop spending on feelings or emotions and start spending on business necessities. Start spending on the things that drive revenue, not the things that take away from revenue.
She's trying to say no life-size gumball machines.
No gumball machines. I think the life-size gumball machine would be like a centerpiece of the store. People would come in just to see it.
Yeah, and then you have to tell me at the end of the year how it drove profits.
Like I almost bought a claw machine this year. I spent hours looking for claw machines, and I found a place that would put it in my store and then just take like just take a portion of the profits.
Sure.
But they turned out to be really flaky, and then I almost bought one like direct from China, but I couldn't do it. I didn't pull the trigger.
Can I ask you, do you know what that gumball machine company is doing by taking that little piece off the top? What do you think they're doing?
The claw machine guy, you mean?
The claw machine guy.
They're buying more claw machines.
They're trying to grow a profit in their claw machine business because that's what they do. They sell claw machines to people that have claw machine people coming to their place of business. And I love a good claw machine too. Sherry, you need to know that I cannot walk
because we're going to put dog toys in it. You put dog toys and gift cards in it. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yes. And you are going to be allowed to buy that claw machine when your profitability goal on December 31st is met. How about that?
All right. Or if I find a really cheap one on Facebook Marketplace. Okay.
Yeah. I love it.
I hope our listeners got some good nuggets out of that. And if anybody wants to connect with Erin some more, she is on LinkedIn. So as are we. So LinkedIn, any business professional
for all the business gets done. That's right. Business. Yeah. Right. Very good headshots on LinkedIn.
Right. Your best pictures are always there.
Best pics on LinkedIn. What a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much. This was so fun.
Well, no, thank you. I mean, I think the biggest thing Sherry's taken away from this is no claw machine for you,
Oh.
Sherry.
Not this year. Maybe not this year. But let's put it in our goal document, Sherry. It's in our goal document.
Okay. Yes. I will have a claw machine next year. Yes.
or nothing else. Claw machine or nothing else. Yeah, sorry.
You want to go for DoorDash now on House of Paws?
I'm going to go get a latte.
100%. Let's go overspend immediately.
We have learned nothing. Nothing. Oh, stubborn jerks that we are.
I know. Entrepreneurs are the worst.
Yeah.
It's like, please tell me what to do, but I'm not going to listen to any of your advice.
It's a true story.
So true.
Mm-hmm.
It's so true. And I love every single one of my clients, but none of them listen to me.
Hey, we have the same a lot of times when it comes to pet food. Like, oh, don't feed that food. Okay, I'm just off to buy that food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Anyways, all right. Well, thank you, my friend. This was awesome. We finally got you here. And we know that there's some, as Sherry says, knowledge nuggets in here for our listeners.
Love a nugget.
Run away, Pet Pro. Make some excellent financial choices. And at the very least, go make your financial goal plan that doesn't include a claw machine. Until next time, Pet Pro. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Pet Pro, that's it for this week.
Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe.
Just hit all the buttons.
And if you want more, join us in the Indie Insider, our private Facebook group for pet pros.
Then you'll never miss the podcast that makes you sit, stay, and beg for more. The Pet Shop Girls.
Pet Shop Girls.
You know, Sherry, when I first opened House of Paws, I was spending way too much time making documents that I needed from scratch. Employee handbooks, sales games, event planners, even little giveaways for customers.
I remember, and those weren't just nice to haves. They make your store run smoother and kept your customers coming back.
Exactly. Every document I created was because I needed it for my own store. And then I kept hearing from other pet pros, I wish I had something like that.
I said that too, and that's what I love. These aren't theory. They're used in a real store with real results. I use your event planner every month. And now any indie retailer can grab them, save time, add their logo, and use them too.
Right? So if you're tired of starting from a blank page, check out houseofpawspetpro.com and use promo code PetShopGirls to get 10% off your first order and see which documents can help you get your time back.
Challenge, y'all!